I wanted to come on here today to talk about um, mental health and essentially what the brain needs and this disturbing trend that's been going on for a couple decades now, the high protein, high fat trend train. And basically, I was first exposed to this in the early 2000s with a family member who was doing the Atkins diet. And right around the time that I had become a vegetarian. And for whatever reason, I never got sucked into it. It just kind of didn't feel right to me intuitively. But I saw people and friends of family as well that were trying to lose weight with the high fat, high protein thing, and then ended up cheating on carbs and gaining weight back and like this yo-yo effect. And I just kind of had a bad feeling about it from the very beginning. And I've just seen it shockingly just persist over the decades, not because people are healing. I haven't met anyone who's healed serious chronic illness on high fat, high protein. I've seen people who say they've healed. I've seen people who um, stop their meds and then say they've healed, and then actually have relapses and then continue saying they've healed. Um, Personally, I waited 2 years after being off of medication before saying that I was healed from my mental illness. I waited 2 years until I was functioning and had been medication free. And there's a lot of people on social even saying that they've had serious illnesses when they haven't really. People are fibbing just to get views and to sell hawk their products, basically. Um, I'm not hawking any products, never have, haven't made a cent in over a decade sharing my healing testimony. Just coming on here because I care about people and it pains me to see people being led to suffering. Because when you're really struggling mentally and you're being told to do high protein, high fat, it's taking you to a bad place. It's leading you towards a dangerous place. Because for a whole host of reasons. The human body and the human brain runs on glucose and trace minerals. Um, the body needs oxygen, water, glucose, and trace minerals to survive. And, from a basic reasoning sense, you can just think about it when you go to the doctor's office, are they taking your blood fat to make sure that you can stay alive, or are they taking your blood sugar? They're measuring your blood sugar to make sure you can stay alive because the body runs on glucose and the brain. You can't think, breathe, talk, move, anything without glucose. So the people on the high fat, high protein, they're getting some glucose from the blood sugar of the animal in the meat, which was keeping the animal alive. They're also adding in, berries or lemon, squeezed lemon in their water, or they're bringing in some medical medium tools, or some honey or whatnot. So they're getting some glucose, but for serious mental illness, it's not enough, right? Because your nervous system needs a lot of glucose when are under stress, when you've had PTSD, when your nervous system has been strained, you need extra glucose. So what that basically is going to do is it's burning out people's adrenals. It's forcing their adrenals to excrete adrenaline, which over time is going to create problems. It's caustic to the body. Adrenaline is wear and tears on the body. It's meant for just emergency reserves, but people are using it every day just for basic daily living. It also produces blood sugar imbalances because when you're mixing sugar and fat in your blood, the glucose isn't getting to the cells without insulin. So your pancreas has to excrete insulin. So they're basically running on adrenaline, creating blood sugar imbalances. It also makes the body acidic, which demineralizes the bones and teeth. So they're demineralizing their bones on the high fat, high protein, which means down the road they're going to have problems. It's putting wear and tear on the organs, like the heart and the brain and the liver, and the kidneys. Think about um, kidney stones. People get problems from overburdening their system with high fat, high protein, and um, it's really sad because I see. I see people out there, all the trends. It's all one size fits all. It's all, um, you know, high protein for everyone, regardless of what their circumstances. If they could have kidney disease, their answer is high protein, which is the worst thing you could do. They could have diabetes, their answer is high protein, which is the worst thing you can do. That's literally one size fits all, and all the trends and products are all one size fits all. So, um, the difference with the medical medium information is it tells you what's actually causing the symptoms, and it always has, and it's been very consistent. I was just listening to a podcast from 2015, and he was literally saying bits and pieces of information that were in the Brain Saver books that came out in 2022, I think. So little bits and pieces of information from the Brain Saver book. It was all consistent, always has been, and it's not one size fits all. It tells you what's wrong. There's thousands of different bits of information, details, protocols that can be customized to each person's life situation, what they're going through. Everyone's life is different. We're all facing different challenges. So it's critical to know how the body works, what's causing the symptoms, and what to do to heal. And just saying like just drown yourself in high fat, high protein, and that's going to solve all your problems is really dangerous and negligent and harmful. And I'm not blaming all the people. I'm sure a lot of people are sharing in their ignorance. When I was young and I was into health, and I thought, you take out the processed foods and you eat whole foods, and I thought I knew everything about health. And I was, I had heard in trends, fish oil, like people say, oh, it's amazing for your nervous system, whatever. So I parroted it. I'm not I'm not happy about that. But when I was younger, I did that because you get caught up in the excitement, the adrenaline. I remember I was in chiropractic school when I was young for a little while, and people used to get so amped up about the different trends, the different students. And it's almost like this adrenalized excitement of like keeping up with the Joneses or the crowd of the new trends or whatnot. And you get caught up in it. And if you don't know otherwise, you know, people don't know better. So I'm not blaming all the influencers. I know that there are certain people in the industry that put out this information to hurt people. So there's people that fund the high protein, high fat theories, because it creates a return on their investment. Trillions and trillions of dollars flowing into the institutes, the medical industry. So it's really sad, and taking advantage of vulnerable, chronically ill is despicable. So that's why I'm trying to fight for people, for basically people's to have a chance. Because to have a fighting chance, life is hard enough when you're not sick. It's hard enough to pay the bills. It's hard enough to not get caught up in all the social bull crap and the political bull crap, and to just to be able to live your life. It's like hard enough without a chronic illness. But when people have a chronic illness and they're the underdogs, and then they're being told to basically just bombard their bodies and their brains with high fat, high protein, which lowers blood oxygen, which can help pathogens to thrive. It also causes the toxic heavy metals in the brain to oxidize, which is not great when you realize that the cause of mental illness symptoms is toxic heavy metals in the brain. It's one of the main things that is creating the depersonalization, the disorganized thinking, psychosis, contributing to depression, anxiety, along with the viruses. So when you know that that's the actual cause, and then people are being told to eat tons of fat, which causes the metals to run off into nearby tissue. So to increase the damage, to end up getting Alzheimer's or dementia earlier in life or later on, when they get older. And it's really upsetting. And then at the same time, I'm on here, with my whatever 400 followers, and then there's people with like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers sharing this information, and it can be discouraging, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to make money. And I'm just honestly really don't want people to have to be trapped in hell like I was. It's the worst, you know, mental illness is such a terrible place to be in when you don't have the support that you need, you don't have the resources that you need. It's being blamed on you. It's always blamed on the person. They're just faulty. They have bad genes. They're not thinking positively. They're not getting their mind right. It's always blamed on the person, and rather than these external causes that are causing it, these pathogens and toxins. So, um, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is other than people can choose to hear people's testimony like me who've, had decades of experience and maybe learn some things, or otherwise people are going to spend years trying the trends and they're going to eventually have to learn that medical medium information is the truth because it's not man-made information. If I had never found medical medium and I was just swimming through all the trends, I'd still be sick. I'd either be dead or permanently incapacitated, or I wouldn't be able to have any semblance of a life. And that's what I was told when I was younger, when I first got sick. Basically lower the expectations for your life. You're going to be on medications for life. Um, basically I was just told to basically just accept and give up on my dreams, my hopes and my dreams. That's what I was told. That ended up not being true. Been medication free for over 12 years. I'm living my life and I have a chance at life. And it's because I found information that's not man-made. I couldn't have come up with solutions. I couldn't have solved the problem. Um, I had to get help from above, from this health scripture and the medical medium information. And it's not just healing people with mental illness symptoms, it's healing people with autoimmune, so-called autoimmune. The first source of information that said that autoimmune is not the body attacking itself, it's actually pathogens attacking the body. It's healing all sorts of skin conditions, it's healing people of all different varieties of health conditions and the most severe health conditions of any information on the planet. There's no information that heals this many people, this wide variety of illnesses, and the severity of these illnesses. People in wheelchairs with MS get healing. Um, everything you could think of, type 2 diabetes healed, just by understanding how the body works and what to do about it. So, um, yeah, I mean, the nervous system, for someone who's struggled with nervous system conditions like mental health challenges, requires ample amounts of glucose, healthy sources of glucose, not processed sugar, not corn syrup, obviously, but healthy sources from fruits, from starchy vegetables like potatoes and sweet potatoes and squash, from honey, which is a medicinal healing food, a miracle, really, containing so many phytochemical compounds that are healing and antiviral and antibacterial and just very helpful. And also maple syrup, which is a healthy source of glucose that has trace minerals in it. So healthy sources combined with the trace minerals. So we need the mineral salts from the celery juice, from the leafy greens, and it's critical to get enough of those foods. And I'm not saying no one can eat meat or fat or protein. The medical medium information says, you know, to just lower the fats so that there's room to get the healing foods in and to give the body what it needs. So, the medicinals. So, medical medium information has always been consistent. The Bible says the same thing. It says we're allowed to eat meat, but it does say that we were created to eat fruits and herbs. In Genesis 1:22, I believe, it says that God gave us the fruits and the herbs to eat. So it's consistent with the Bible and it's consistent with reality because the human body runs on glucose.